Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we're going to take a look at AI's best Game Week 10 wildcard draft. So I know a couple of you guys are wildcarding in Game Week 10. I've already uploaded an ultimate wildcard video where I take a look at the draft that I myself would build. But I thought today let's take a look at what AI has for us as well. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. So let's jump straight into the video, and once again, the team value is pretty high as recommended by AI. Usually these drafts are slightly higher. I think they build it based off of the average team value of most FPL teams right now, and I know a couple of you guys do have quite a high team value as well, so maybe this is reachable for some of you guys. If it's not, you can always downgrade some players as well. It's just a reference anyways, right? So 3-5-2 is still the formation that AI recommends. I think that is fine as well. I think in general there would be an enabler or so in the midfield, because you take a look at the players that you want to go for right now, so many of them in the 7 to 8 million bracket. And of course, quite a couple of premiums that we want as well, like Son, Salah, Haaland, etc. So Kieran Trippier as well. So we are going to have to compromise in some areas. And for this draft, there will be a midfield enabler as well. So 3-5-2. Taking a look at the 4 players on the pitch right now, it's the goalkeeper and the 3 defenders. So I think this is pretty template. This back 3 as well as the keeper pairing that we see here, it's Areola and Turner. So speaking about the keepers first, I don't think we need to think too far, right? Aside from Areola and Turner, I know a couple of drafts that I've seen for Game Week 10 have Johnstone in the draft as well as a 4.5 million keeper. But looking at how many expensive players that are performing right now, players like Bowen, who's in a 7.4 million price range, Saka, someone we potentially want as well. Then you add the premiums like Son, Haaland, and Salah. I think it's pretty hard to justify having that extra money on a keeper. So I don't think I would recommend Johnstone for 4.5 million when Areola is fine as well. I know West Ham's defense isn't absolutely watertight, but the fixtures are there for them, and I think clean sheets haven't been a lot, right? In the past couple of game weeks, or the first 9 game weeks, I think they've only kept 1 clean sheet. But that said, they did have quite a tough first 9 game weeks in terms of defensive fixtures. So moving forward, there will be better fixtures for them to get clean sheets. So Areola would mainly be the starting keeper, and I don't think I would look anywhere else other than Turner. So there we go with keeper pairing. Cash, Tsimikas, and Gabriel, I think, is a pretty template back 3 as well, and AI also backs that as well. Cash, of course, because of the Aston Villa fixtures, he has Luton at home here, which I think it's a fixture that I see Aston Villa absolutely decimating Luton, right? No disrespect to Luton fans, but I think Aston Villa will do pretty well, especially looking at their form right now. So Medicash, definitely a player I would want, and he is pretty expensive. So if you guys are buying him, if you haven't gone with him and you're buying him fresh off, is 5.1 million, so he is pretty expensive. If you don't have enough money, I think he is a player you potentially can downgrade, but you do have to consider what you are losing out if you go without him, which is the attacking threat as well, right? And then there's Tsimikas, 4.5 million. He's just, I feel, a gift for the Game Week 10 wildcarders. 4.5 million into the Liverpool defense. And of course, with a good couple of fixtures coming up, I think we can't look anywhere else other than Tsimikas for this 4.5 million defender, right? And then there's Gabriel. So Gabriel's at 4.7 million. Arsenal have a decent run of fixtures. In fact, they're actually the top for the next 6 game weeks in terms of the fixture ticker. So great fixtures for them. In Game Week 10 is Sheffield. In Game Week 11, it's Newcastle. So that's kind of a blip there, and you should have some defenders on your bench to come on for you if you want to bench Gabriel in that game week, which I imagine a lot of people will want. So for this particular team, this is where I differ a little bit from AI. I think the defensive coverage on the bench is not good enough, right? Branthwaite from Everton and Taylor from Burnley, I don't think they're good enough bench covers. So ideally, I would want maybe a Mark Gahey there. That's where I think the Crystal Palace assets should be. I don't think it should be at the goalkeeper position. I think Branthwaite, if you have enough money, should be upgraded to Gahey to rotate with this Gabriel Newcastle fixture in Game Week 11. So that is where I differ a little bit. I think for the third forward, having Archer on the bench there, I agree with that one. 4.5 million. He's just an enabler, right? To just give decent bench coverage if you need a forward to come in should you have any injuries. So there we go. I think for the time being, it still looks pretty template. Now let's take a look at the midfield. So next up in midfield, it's Gordon, Salah, Son, Maddison, and Saka. So I think this is where AI actually differs a little bit. And it does seem a little bit knee-jerky as well after the 2-0 win for Spurs against Fulham. Right, of course, Son and Maddison did really well. Son got an assist and a goal. Maddison also got a goal as well. So he got a return there and he got bonus points as well. So it does seem like Son and Maddison are very, very consistent. But I have to say that I think before the Tottenham and Fulham game, I don't think we would be actually looking at having Spurs assets in our team. I remember looking at the Game Week 10 wildcard drafts that people started putting out before the Tottenham game. None of them had, some of them didn't even have Son, right? But now all of a sudden it seems as if Spurs assets are essential. And Son and Maddison is in this draft for the time being. They have Crystal Palace away. I wouldn't say that their fixtures moving ahead are very, very tough. But I think it will be pretty hard for them to maintain this kind of returns into the next couple of game weeks because their fixtures aren't the best, I have to say. But with the way that they're performing and how consistent Son and Maddison are, their form right now, and Spurs just being at the top of the Premier League table, they're performing really well, still unbeaten in the Premier League as well. So they are on a decent run of form, and I think there is slightly some justification there to go with a Spurs asset. But I'm not so sure if I would go for 2 Spurs assets. I think if I were to make a change to this midfield, maybe Maddison to Bowen is something I would do. And with the extra funds, maybe I upgrade Gordon to Mitoma, right? But what AI has done here is they've gone for Son and Maddison as the Spurs double up. And then Salah and Saka, I feel Salah and Saka are pretty much no-brainers on a Game Week 10 wildcard, right? Salah, I feel like he's essential. He's going to be a captain option in most game weeks as well, so you have to have him. And Saka as well, the fixtures moving forward are really good. I think in terms of Arsenal assets, attacking assets wise, I wouldn't go anywhere else other than Saka. Martinelli is always facing a little bit of threat from Trossard, and Odegaard as well, you will remember, got subbed off while Arsenal were chasing the game against Chelsea, right? So I feel Arsenal assets, you have to go for Saka as the most nailed one, and then Gordon is just the enabler in this team. I don't mind him at all, right? He's pretty cheap and he does enable you to have this really, really strong midfield as well. So I have to say that I don't mind Gordon at all. There are a couple of other enablers that are in the market right now at least. There's Adingra at 5 million, also someone worth considering. There's also Neto. And lastly, there is Cole Palmer at 4.9 million. The fixtures aren't great, but he's on penalties. And he's looking as if he's playing in the false 9 position for Chelsea as well. He's getting into good attacking positions basically. So there's a sea of enablers in that spot, in that midfield spot, if you are looking for one. For this draft, AI has gone for Gordon, which I don't mind at all. Moving forward, Newcastle's fixtures aren't the best, but their tough fixtures are at home at St. James's Park. And the way I see it, I actually feel like Newcastle will do pretty well in those games. So I don't mind AI going with Gordon here. So there we go with this midfield. Gordon, Salah, Son, Maddison, and Saka. Let me know what changes you would make to this midfield. So up front, it's Haaland and Watkins. Yep, you guessed it. And Watkins, I would say, is one of the first few names in your Game Week 10 wildcard. He's playing Luton at home. I think that's a fixture that we see Aston Villa scoring a lot of goals in, and you would expect Watkins to be in and amongst those goals. I think I've read a quote as well, right, that Watkins wanted to hit the 20 goal target as well, which is something that he set for himself, and he wants to be involved in the Euros as well. So he has a personal goal, and I think generally when that happens, I tend to favor the attacker who's very motivated to play for this country, and I guess not to say that other players aren't motivated, but I think he has a lot of things going for him right now, and the fixtures moving forward are kind of a springboard to allow him to hit his targets as well. So I would say that Watkins is one of the first few names I would have on a Game Week 10 wildcard. Now for Haaland, I have seen a couple of questions as well on the comments on YouTube videos and my videos as well. I've realized that a lot of people are actually considering going without Haaland, and every single game week as we build a game week wildcard, it seems as if people just want to go more and more without Haaland. But what I think is that now Rodri is back, right? So I feel like the ball game is a little bit different here. Man City are playing a little bit better than they were without Rodri. And I feel like the next couple of fixtures for Haaland are actually pretty good, right? I think Manchester United away, Manchester United have been pretty shambolic, right? In defense as well. We would know Onana has been making so many mistakes. And Haaland, I feel like, is someone that will capitalize on those. And then in game week 11, he has Bournemouth as well. So easily in game week 11, he is the best captain option. Now in game week 10, maybe you could argue Salah as a captain option, Watkins, maybe even Son, right? But I would say that Haaland, I predict, would score pretty well in this game week as well. So to answer the question of whether in game week 10 I would build a draft without Haaland, I think I wouldn't go without Haaland. But I do understand that for some of you guys, you want to spread the funds elsewhere. You want to keep Trippier. You still want to afford maybe a Bowen in midfield as well. So of course, selling Haaland will allow you to do all these things. So I wouldn't dissuade you guys from going without Haaland, but I think for myself and at least for AI as well, I would go for Haaland, right? Just because I think moving forward, I think there are other game weeks where if you wildcard in those game weeks, you can go without Haaland. I think game week 10 is just not one of those game weeks as well. Right, so that's where I'm at for this wildcard draft. It's a 3-5-2, and I think the team looks in general pretty strong. I don't have too many issues with them. I've pointed out a couple of the areas that I would change. So let me know what you guys think about this draft in the comments down below. If you are wildcarding in game week 10, how different is your team from this draft as well? Let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. And tomorrow will be the upload where I'm launching a new series called Your Questions, so do keep a lookout for that one. And if you do want your questions to be featured in those videos or in that video, drop it in the comments below and I will answer your questions in that video. So do keep a lookout for that. I'm pretty excited for that one. So if you do see that, or turn on your notifications so you will get a notification when that comes out and you can watch it immediately as well. So there we go. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the Your Questions video.